I recognize the ranking member of the full committee, Mr. Larsen, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I, like many of us, are disappointed that the cameras in the hallway were not here to cover Garrett Graves' last hearing. However, it's good that we're all here to be here and to honor him, though, for his work in this committee, but also in the House as a whole, and also for his personal friendship and our getting to know each other over the fact that I represented his in-laws for some time, and a lot of his family members in my district as well. But I want to thank him for calling the hearing today on the implementation of the 24 FAA law. In response to these challenges that aviation faces over the last few years, Congress did rise to the occasion. This committee engaged in a thorough process. We negotiated and compromised to reach a bipartisan and bicameral solution to deliver for the flying public. I want to thank today's witnesses as well for providing critical input during that time as we work through this process from the bill's introduction to the final passage. Now, whether supporting the integration of new entrants in the airspace or overseeing the FAA's commitment to a safer and more efficient national airspace, your enthusiasm, Garrett, your expertise, your partnership will be missed. We will all miss that. So I wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors. Now, the passage of the 24 FAA Reauthorization was only the first step in ensuring the U.S. remains the gold standard in aviation safety, efficiency, and innovation. For instance, the law will increase the safety and efficiency of our airspace and help prevent close calls and near misses on airport runways across the country. An FAA NAS Safety Review Team report on this found that air traffic controller staff shortages actively erode the margin of safety in the national airspace. To address these workforce and safety concerns, the law includes several provisions, including the FAA to do several things, include hire the maximum number of controllers annually, improve its controller staffing model, and expand the deployment of surface surveillance and detection equipment at U.S. airports. The law also calls on the FAA to take decisive actions to address aging FAA air traffic control legacy systems. These crucial reforms will ultimately enhance the long-term efficiency and safety of our national airspace while creating good-paying aviation jobs. Passenger safety also depends on worker safety, and as we emerged from the pandemic and air travel demand surged, there were an alarming number of unruly passenger incidents, endangering flight crews and passengers alike. And so to address this threat, the law created a task force to prevent such assaults and mandated airlines to establish employee assault and response plans. Meanwhile, recent flight disruptions have shaken the flying public's confidence in air travel. For example, earlier this year, certain air carriers were unable to cope with the global IT outage, leaving thousands of passengers stranded. To get us back on the right trajectory, the law required airlines to provide full cash refunds to consumers affected by delayed or canceled flights and develop policies addressing reimbursement for passengers for hotel and meal costs when a flight is canceled or significantly delayed. So while reimbursing passengers affected by flight disruptions is one way to protect consumers, we have to do more to ensure every passenger can travel safely and with dignity. And the FAA Reauthorization improves training for airline personnel and contractors to better assist travelers with disabilities and directs the DOT to create a roadmap for airlines to reduce damage to wheelchairs and mobility aids. The law also increases funding for the Airport Improvement Program from $3.35 to $4 billion annually, of which at least $150 million in discretionary funds, the largest portion that's ever been required before, are to be spent on airport climate, noise, and other environmental impacts. Moreover, AIP funding can now be used to invest in infrastructure for alternative propulsion technologies by allowing airports to fund the development of hydrogen and electrification infrastructure necessary to support new aircraft. Finally, the law improves the lives of neighboring airport communities by requiring the FAA to develop a plan to transition away from leaded fuel in general aviation by 2030 and takes actions to mitigate the impacts of aviation noise across the country. Lastly, I want to talk about the talent pool because the FAA Reauthorization made robust investments in the American aviation workforce, providing resources to expand and strengthen the talent pool, a requirement for American innovation. For instance, the law invests $60 million annually in aviation workforce development grants to grow the next generation aviation manufacturer workers, maintenance technicians, and pilots. Now, the current and future challenge facing the U.S. aviation system are significant but not insurmountable, and I believe together we can meet these challenges. Congress did its job in passing the 2024 FAA Reauthorization this past May. And now the FAA and the DOT need to do their jobs to effectively implement the programs and fulfilling the various provisions. I would note, again, I want to emphasize something that the chair said. Our vote here in the House was 387 to 26, and the Senate was 88 to 4. We know where those 30 people live. But we also know this, a strong bipartisan, bicameral support for the FAA reauthorization. The FAA and the DOT knows the job it needs to do because Congress told the FAA and the DOT the job that it needs to do over the next several years. As the new administration comes on board, we want to both help the administration move forward on the work that we assign to the DOT and the FAA to do this, and we can all be successful in doing that, and we'll help the administration to do that because they already have clear direction on what it needs to do. So with that, I look forward to hearing from our witnesses about the implementation, and again, I'll thank my good friend Garrett Graves for his service here at the committee and to the House. Thanks, Garrett.
Thank you, Ranking Member Larsen. Recognize Ranking Member Cohen